Bugliosi feverishly prepared for what was sure to be an exhausting trial. He had to show not only motive, but the intangible, mental domination. But Charles Manson had plans of his own. As the trial opens on June 15, 1970, the prosecution team faces 4 separate attorneys representing Manson, Krenwinkel, Atkins, and Van Houten. But in a sense, Bugliosi is also up against the entire Manson family. As the jury is sworn in, then sequestered, he worries about the element of fear.
A hung jury was certainly a problem. We had to worry about that. Particularly since the jury knew that members of the Manson family were still out on the loose. As someone said, very aptly, they said Manson might be behind bars, but his reach extends beyond the jail cell.
To get former Manson family members and other witnesses to testify, Bugliosi and Stovitz offer them immunity from prosecution for lesser crimes or convince them they'll be safer with Manson out of circulation. Prepared with months of exhaustive research, Bugliosi elicits disturbing testimony about life with Charlie Manson, including his techniques for breaking down individual will.
He controlled virtually all aspects of their sexuality when they'd have their sex orgies. Manson was kind of like a maestro, orchestrating what everyone else did. No one else touched anyone else or kissed anyone else or made love to anyone else unless Manson told him to do so.
In Charlie's world, watches and clocks are forbidden. So are birthdays and any talk of the past. There is no time, Charlie tells his disciples, only the now. From certain women, he takes eyeglasses, birth control pills, even their babies for communal parenting. The prettiest women are reportedly used as sexual bait to entice more men to join the group. Charlie supervises the taking of drugs, primarily marijuana and LSD, which enhance the hypnotic effect of his words. At dinner, he often sits alone atop a rock with the others at his feet, playing his guitar and preaching. He delivers a mixed message of spiritual harmony taken from the Bible, the Beatles, and various New Age religions.
One of Manson's favorite words is program. He'd tell the members of his family, he says, every one of you has been programmed by society, schools, churches, parents. He says, it's my job to unprogram you. What he did not tell them, of course, was that in the process of unprogramming them, he was reprogramming them to be his slaves and to be his followers.
Sandra Good acknowledges Manson's special powers, but denies that he uses them to control others.
The fact is he did not take anyone's will. He did not break will of a horse, of a dog, of a child, of a woman, of a man, of anyone. We all did what we wanted to do, including those murders. In truth, he had an uncanny ability to understand your innermost feelings, your psychological makeup, and he was not at all manipulative because he didn't have any reason to be manipulative. He was happy. He was self-contained. He was what a lot of people wanted to be like.
Love for plants and animals and respect for the earth are at the heart of Manson's philosophy. But Charlie also preaches that women are put on earth to serve and reflect men, that blacks are inferior to whites, that Adolf Hitler is to be admired. Overriding everything is Manson's fascination with taking human life. One of his followers would later put it this way: death is Charlie's trip. During the trial, no one can predict how the erratic Manson might attempt to dominate and control the courtroom. From day one, Bugliosi finds himself the target of Manson's famous piercing eyes.
He and I used to have a lot of staring sessions. All was initiated by him. He was trying to intimidate me with that Hitlerian stare of his.
On one occasion, a lengthy staring session leads to verbal sparring, The intense rivalry between prosecutor and defendant has become personal, and Bugliosi clearly relishes the battle.
For 20 minutes we looked at each other. And his hands started trembling. I said, "How come your hands are trembling, Charlie?" I said, "Are you afraid of me or something?" He said, "No, why should I be afraid of you?" I said, "Well, your hands seem to be trembling."
Whenever possible, Bugliosi challenges Manson to take the witness stand in his defense, but Manson only grins. Throughout the trial, Manson and the family make their presence felt in the courthouse or gather on a corner outside, playing to the media.
And whatever he would do in court, they would try to emulate him out in the corner. One day he came into court and he had carved an X on his forehead. He said he was Xing himself out from the world.
Tell a particular story.
The next day, all the girls and the young kids in the corner had carved X's on their foreheads.
At one point, because of Manson's erratic behavior, the judge takes away his right to act as his own attorney. In response, Manson instigates a series of disruptive tactics. When he turns his chair with his back to the judge, Atkins, Krenwinkel, and Van Houten do the same. The next day, Charlie strikes a crucifixion pose once again. The three women follow his lead. When he becomes angry with the judge, his co-defendants turn their backsides to the judge and pull up their skirts. Manson merely enjoys the spectacle, but Bugliosi perceives something else, something he can use. The women are playing right into the prosecution's hands, demonstrating to the jury just how obedient they are to Charlie. On August 3rd, 1970, the president himself, Richard Nixon, becomes a pawn in Manson's game. In a speech to law enforcement officials, Nixon declares Manson guilty. The next day in court, Manson holds the headline up for all 12 jurors to see, nearly causing a mistrial. Not long after, Aaron Stovitz is yanked off the case for violating a gag order by speaking with a reporter about the trial. Vincent Bugliosi now stands at center stage with Charles Manson, two arch rivals in a bizarre courtroom drama that's about to become deadly serious. As the Tate LaBianca murder trial unfolds month by month, the tension between Manson and Bugliosi only rises. The proceedings are as unpredictable as Manson himself, sometimes dragging on and sometimes exploding violently.
One day, Manson got a hold of a sharp pencil and he leaped over the console table and he started charging the judge towards the bench. And the bailiffs immediately tackled him and dragged him out of court, and he shouted something to the judge to the effect, "In the name of Christian justice, someone should chop off your head."
When Manson tells a bailiff that he plans to have Bugliosi and the judge murdered, the judge begins carrying a .38 revolver beneath his robe. Bugliosi is given a full-time police bodyguard and has his house equipped with a special security system. Prosecution witnesses also receive death threats. One, a teenage girl, nearly dies after Manson family members feed her a hamburger laced with 10 hits of LSD. But the most shocking event involves defense attorney Ronald Hughes, with whom Manson has been angry. Before the trial is over, Hughes will disappear and die mysteriously in the desert. His death never fully explained. Everyone, including Bugliosi, wonders who might be next.